The vast halls of the Nexarian warship, Eternal Glory, echoed with the sounds of celebration. Crystal glasses clinked, alien music pulsed through the air, and the victorious roars of the Nexarian warriors filled every chamber. High Commander Vexel stood at the center of the Grand Hall, his towering frame draped in ceremonial armor that gleamed under the ethereal lights. "Today marks the end of humanity's resistance," he declared, raising his ceremonial blade. "Their pathetic fleet lies in ruins, their military bases reduced to ash. Earth has fallen." The assembled warriors roared in approval, their scaled skin reflecting the celebration lights in waves of iridescent colors. The Nexarians had good reason to celebrate. After a brutal 6-month campaign, they had seemingly crushed Earth's military forces. Their massive warships had torn through Earth's orbital defenses, their superior technology making short work of humanity's most advanced vessels. Or so they thought. In the command center of the Eternal Glory, Strategic Officer Kraz displayed holographic footage of their victory. "Observe," he said, gesturing to images of destroyed human ships and burning military installations. "Their most advanced vessels couldn't even penetrate our primary shields. Their weapons were primitive, their tactics predictable. Humanity proved to be exactly what we expected, an inferior species clinging to outdated technology." But far beyond their sensors' reach, deep within an asteroid belt at the edge of the solar system, reality told a different story. Inside a massive hollowed-out asteroid designated Phoenix Base, General Marcus Reed stood before a gathering of Earth's finest military commanders. The vast chamber was filled with holographic displays showing real-time data from across the solar system. "Let them celebrate," Reed said, his voice carrying across the chamber. "While they toast to their supposed victory, our real fleet stands ready." He gestured to a massive viewing window, revealing rows upon rows of advanced warships hidden within the asteroid's artificial caverns. These weren't the outdated vessels the Nexarians had been fighting. These were humanity's true weapons, kept secret for this very moment. Colonel Jennifer Torres, commander of the Hidden Fleet's First Strike Force, stepped forward. "The Nexarians took our bait perfectly. They think they've seen our best technology, our strongest weapons. They have no idea what's coming." Her words carried the weight of countless hours of preparation, of sacrifices made to maintain this elaborate deception. The ships housed within Phoenix Base represented technology far beyond anything the Nexarians had encountered. While Earth's regular forces had fought with conventional weapons, these vessels incorporated revolutionary quantum technologies, advanced AI systems, and weapons that defied conventional physics. "Status report," Reed commanded, turning to Dr. Marcus Chen, chief scientist of Project Phoenix. "All systems are operational, General," Chen reported, his eyes bright with anticipation. "The quantum core reactors are stable, the phase shift shields are at full capacity, and the graviton cannon arrays are charged. The Nexarians won't know what hit them." Throughout Phoenix Base, thousands of crew members made final preparations. These weren't regular soldiers, they were elite operators, trained in secret for years, waiting for this moment. Their ships weren't just advanced, they represented a complete reimagining of space warfare. On the Eternal Glory, the celebrations continued. High Commander Vexel raised another toast to their victory, completely unaware that human sensors were tracking every move of his fleet. The Nexarians had spread themselves thin, their ships dispersed across Earth's solar system in a display of dominance. It would prove to be their greatest mistake. "Begin final countdown," General Reed ordered, his voice echoing through Phoenix Base's vast chambers. "All crews to battle stations. Initiate quantum masking systems." The Hidden Fleet powered up in perfect silence, their advanced systems completely invisible to Nexarian sensors. Years of preparation, of careful planning and sacrifice had led to this moment. The Nexarians thought they had won, thought they had seen everything humanity could throw at them. They were about to learn how wrong they were. As the celebration on the Eternal Glory reached its peak, General Reed gave the final order. "All ships, prepare for phase shift jump. Operation Thunderstrike begins in 5 minutes." His words carried the promise of humanity's true power about to be unleashed. The Nexarians had celebrated too soon, and their moment of triumph was about to turn into their worst nightmare. Humanity's real forces were ready, and the true battle for Earth was about to begin. The galaxy was about to witness what happened when humanity was pushed too far, when an advanced alien race mistook patience for weakness and careful preparation for defeat. The space around Earth shimmered with an eerie calm. On board the Eternal Glory, High Commander Vexel was preparing to address his empire via holographic transmission, ready to announce humanity's final defeat. The celebration had been going on for hours. with Nexarian warriors trading stories of their easy victories over Earth's supposedly primitive forces. Suddenly, every alarm on the Eternal Glory screamed to life. The ship's AI system blared urgent warnings in multiple frequencies. Strategic Officer Kraz rushed to his command console, his scaled hands flying over the holographic controls. High Commander, multiple quantum anomalies detected there. They're everywhere. The space around the celebrating Nexarian fleet erupted in brilliant flashes of blue-white light. Where there had been empty void moments before, hundreds of sleek, menacing vessels materialized. These weren't the clumsy, outdated ships the Nexarians had been fighting for the past 6 months. These vessels were something else entirely, predatory, advanced, and unmistakably human. Impossible, Vexel roared, his celebration cape falling to the ground as he rushed to the command center. Their fleet was destroyed, we saw their ships burn. Inside Phoenix Base's command ship Thunderstrike Prime, General Reed stood at the helm, watching as his fleet emerged from quantum space precisely as planned. All ships report status, he commanded. All vessels present and accounted for. General Colonel Torres reported from her strike cruiser. Quantum emergence successful, phase shift shields at maximum, graviton weapons hot. The Nexarian Empire was about to learn the true meaning of shock and awe. The human fleet moved with impossible precision, their formations so perfect they seemed to dance through space. Each ship's quantum drive left trails of ethereal light, creating a deadly light show that illuminated the darkness. On the Eternal Glory, panic replaced celebration. How are they moving like that? Kraz shouted, watching as his targeting systems failed to lock onto the human vessels. Their maneuverability defies physics. These can't be human ships. But they were. Years of secret development, of learning and adapting, had produced vessels that made the Nexarians' most advanced ships look primitive in comparison. The human fleet's quantum drives allowed them to partially phase out of normal space, making them nearly impossible to hit. Their graviton weapons could tear through Nexarian shields like paper. All ships execute Battle Pattern Phoenix, General Reed ordered. The human fleet split into precisely coordinated attack groups, each one targeting key positions in the Nexarian formation. They moved like a single organism, their neural-linked crews working in perfect synchronization. The first shots fired by humanity's real fleet left the Nexarians in stunned disbelief. Beams of concentrated graviton energy sliced through their supposedly impenetrable shields, cutting through hull armor as if it were tissue paper. The Nexarian warriors, who moments ago had been celebrating their victory, now scrambled in panic to their battle stations. This is impossible, Vexel raged as another Nexarian cruiser exploded under the human assault. Their technology, it's beyond anything we've seen, how could they have hidden this? The answer was simple but devastating. Everything the Nexarians had seen until now had been a carefully crafted deception. Every battle, every defeat, had been part of humanity's plan to hide their true capabilities until the perfect moment. Colonel Torres led her strike group in a devastating attack run on the Eternal Glory. Her ships moved with impossible grace, quantum drives allowing them to seemingly teleport short distances, appearing where Nexarian targeting systems least expected them. Remember what they did to Earth, she transmitted to her pilots. Remember why we waited, why we planned. Now show them what humanity's real forces can do. The Nexarian fleet, caught completely off guard, tried to mount a defense. But their formation was scattered, their ships still configured for celebration rather than combat. Their weapons, which had seemed so powerful against humanity's decoy forces, barely scratched the quantum-shifted hulls of the real human fleet. By the eternal void, Kraz whispered, watching as another Nexarian battleship disappeared in a flash of quantum fire. What are they? The answer echoed through every Nexarian communication channel as General Reed broadcast a single message across all frequencies. We are humanity's real forces. You celebrated our defeat too soon. Now witness our true power. The battle unfolded like a deadly dance, with human ships executing maneuvers that the Nexarians had believed impossible. Their quantum technology allowed them to partially exist in multiple spaces at once, making their attacks come from seemingly impossible angles. The graviton weapons collapsed Nexarian ships from the inside out, their advanced shields useless against technology they had never imagined possible. As the reality of their situation sank in, the Nexarian celebration turned to chaos. The mighty empire that had thought itself victorious now faced an enemy beyond their comprehension. Their sensors couldn't track the human ships properly, their weapons couldn't lock on effectively, and their tactics proved useless against an enemy that moved like ghosts through space. All ships execute Phase 2, General Reed commanded. The human fleet shifted formation again, their coordinated movements creating a net of deadly force around the scattered Nexarian fleet. The message was clear, the celebration had ended, and humanity's real power had arrived. The galaxy would never be the same. As the battle in Earth's orbit intensified, the true scope of humanity's deception began to unfold. The Nexarian Empire's communication channels erupted with desperate distress calls from across the solar system. It wasn't just Earth, humanity's hidden forces were emerging everywhere. High Commander Vexel watched in horror as reports flooded in from every Nexarian outpost. From the moons of Jupiter to the mining colonies of the asteroid belt, more human ships appeared, each revealed position striking with devastating precision. The celebrations across the Nexarian fleet had turned to screams of panic and disbelief. "My lord," Kraz's voice trembled as he delivered his report, "we're detecting quantum signatures from beneath Mars' surface. They're launching." The red planet's surface split open, revealing massive underground hangars. More advanced human vessels rose from the hidden bases, their weapons already charging. On board Thunderstrike Prime, General Reed allowed himself a grim smile. "Activate all sleeper bases," he commanded. "Show them exactly what they've walked into." Across the solar system, humanity's carefully hidden installations came to life. Years of preparation, of building in secret while letting the Nexarians believe they were winning, were finally paying off. The Eternal Glory shuddered as another volley of graviton weapons struck its hull. "How did we not see this coming?" Vexel demanded, watching as his mighty flagship systems failed one by one. How could they have hidden such technology? The answer was becoming painfully clear. The humans hadn't just hidden their advanced ships, they had orchestrated an elaborate deception on a scale the Nexarians couldn't comprehend. Every battle, every retreat, every seemingly desperate last stand had been carefully calculated to convince the Nexarians of their superiority. Colonel Torres led her strike force through the chaos, her ships moving with impossible precision. "Launch the Phantom drones," she ordered. From the hangars of her vessels, swarms of autonomous fighters emerged. Unlike the primitive drones the Nexarians had faced before, these units were powered by quantum AI cores, capable of making decisions faster than organic minds could process. "By the void," a Nexarian captain screamed over the command channel. "The drones, they're predicting our moves before we make them." The Phantom drones danced through space, their quantum processors calculating probable enemy actions seconds before they occurred. Nexarian ships found themselves caught in deadly crossfires, their tactical decisions anticipated and countered before they could execute them. Deep within the Thunderstrike Prime, Dr. Chen monitored the performance of their quantum systems. "The neural network is adapting to their patterns," he reported. "Each engagement makes our predictions more accurate. Their tactical database is being decoded in real time." The truth dawned on the Nexarian command with crushing force. They hadn't just underestimated humanity's technology. They had fallen into a trap years in the making. Every engagement, every piece of data they had gathered about human capabilities had been carefully crafted to lead them to this moment. "Launch the Harbinger Protocol," General Reed commanded. Across the solar system, massive quantum beacons activated. These devices, hidden in plain sight disguised as debris or abandoned stations, began emitting fields that disrupted Nexarian faster-than-light communications. The Empire's mighty fleet, for the first time in its history, found itself cut off and isolated. On the Eternal Glory's bridge, Vexel watched his Empire's greatest fleet crumble. "Send the emergency signal, call for reinforcements," he ordered, but Kraz's response froze his blood. "We can't, sir, our quantum arrays are being blocked. We're trapped." The human fleet moved with calculated precision, herding the scattered Nexarian ships into kill zones. The coordinated attacks revealed another shocking truth. The humans had studied Nexarian tactics for years, learning every strategy, every standard response. Now they used that knowledge to devastating effect. "This is impossible," Vexel whispered, watching as another battle group was systematically dismantled by human forces. "We are the Nexarian Empire. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We cannot be defeated by the very species you underestimated." General Reed's voice cut through all frequencies. "While you celebrated your false victory, humanity was watching, learning, and preparing. Every defeat we allowed you to have, every technology we let you think was our best, it was all leading to this moment." The Phantom drones swept through the Nexarian formations again, their quantum processors now fully adapted to enemy patterns. They struck with perfect precision, targeting weak points that the Nexarians didn't even know their ships had. The mighty empire that had never known defeat was being systematically taken apart by an enemy they had foolishly dismissed. As the battle reached its crescendo, the full scope of humanity's preparation became clear. This wasn't just a counterattack. It was the revelation of a species that had mastered the art of strategic deception, technological innovation, and patient planning. The Nexarians had celebrated too soon, and now they were paying the price for their arrogance. The stars themselves seemed to dim against the quantum fire of humanity's weapons. The empire that had thought itself invincible was learning a harsh lesson about the danger of underestimating their opponents. As General Reed watched the battle unfold exactly as planned, he knew the galaxy would never forget this day, the day when humanity's real forces revealed themselves, and an empire's celebration turned into its nightmare. The once mighty Eternal Glory, flagship of the Nexarian Empire, drifted through space surrounded by the wreckage of its escort fleet. The celebration banners still hung in its halls, now torn and scorched, a mocking reminder of their premature victory celebration. High Commander Vexel stood in his command center, watching as everything he believed about his empire's superiority crumbled before his eyes. "My lord," Strategic Officer Kraz called out, his voice hollow with despair, "the humans, they're not just attacking us here. We're receiving fragments of transmissions from across Nexarian space. They're hitting everything. Our colonies, our outposts, our supply lines, they're everywhere." The truth was more devastating than any weapon. While the Nexarians had concentrated their forces near Earth, celebrating what they thought was their greatest victory, humanity had positioned their real forces throughout Nexarian territory. Every hidden base, every secret installation they'd built during their supposed retreat, now served as a staging ground for simultaneous strikes across the Empire. On board Thunderstrike Prime, General Reed received the latest strategic updates. "Operation Shadow Web is proceeding as planned," Colonel Torres reported. "Our quantum-shifted fleets have emerged at all designated points. The Nexarian Empire is being dismantled from within." The humans' plan was ruthlessly elegant. They hadn't just hidden their advanced technology, they had used the Nexarians' own arrogance against them. Every time the Empire had pushed forward, believing they were conquering human territory, they had actually been advancing into a carefully laid trap. "Status of the Harbinger Network," Reed inquired, studying the tactical displays showing the coordinated attacks across Nexarian space. "All quantum disruption fields are at maximum power," Dr. Chen confirmed. "Their faster-than-light communications remain severed. The Empire can't coordinate a response. Each sector is isolated, fighting alone against our forces." The Nexarian Empire's greatest strength, its vast size and unified command structure, had become its greatest weakness. Without their quantum communications, their fleet commanders couldn't synchronize their actions. The empire that had conquered 1,000 worlds was being taken apart piece by piece. On the Eternal Glory, Vexel made one last desperate attempt to salvage the situation. "Launch the Worldbreaker protocols," he commanded. "Show these humans the true power of the Nexarian Empire." But even this last resort played into humanity's hands. As the Nexarian ships activated their most powerful weapons, quantum sensors hidden throughout their fleet came to life. These devices, secretly planted during previous defeats, had been waiting for this exact moment. "They're deploying their Worldbreaker weapons," Colonel Torres reported calmly, "activating countermeasures now." The massive energy weapons of the Nexarian ships powered up, ready to unleash devastation, and then failed spectacularly. The quantum sensors had mapped their energy signatures over months of observation, allowing human forces to develop precise countermeasures. "How?" Vexel roared, watching as his fleet's ultimate weapons sputtered and died. "How could they know about the world breakers?" The answer came in the form of more human ships emerging from quantum space, their advanced drives allowing them to appear literally inside the Nexarian formation. These vessels were different, smaller, sleeker, built for a single purpose. They were the infiltrators, the ships that had gathered intelligence while disguised as debris or damaged vessels during previous battles. "Your empire celebrated its victory while we studied every aspect of your technology," General Reed's voice echoed through all frequencies. "Every weapon you revealed, every tactic you used, every celebration of triumph, it all helped us prepare for this moment." The Nexarian Empire's reputation for invincibility had been its undoing. They had never considered that an enemy might let them win, might feed them false confidence while preparing their real strength. The humans hadn't just developed superior technology, they had mastered the art of strategic deception on a galactic scale. Across Nexarian space, the story was the same. Hidden human bases activated, advanced ships emerged from quantum space, and the Empire's forces found themselves fighting an enemy that knew every one of their weaknesses. The celebration that had marked their supposed victory over Earth now seemed like a distant dream, replaced by the nightmare of total defeat. All your Empire's strength, General Reed continued, his words reaching every Nexarian ship, all your technological superiority meant nothing because you failed to understand one crucial truth about humanity. We don't just fight with weapons and ships. We fight with patience, with strategy, and with the absolute determination to survive. The Phantom drones swept through the remaining Nexarian formation one last time, their quantum processors having fully adapted to enemy patterns. They moved like a swarm of deadly predators, each strike calculated to cause maximum damage with minimal effort. The Empire's mighty warships, designed to instill fear across the galaxy, were being systematically dismantled by an enemy they had foolishly dismissed. As the battle reached its final stages, Vexel watched from his failing flagship as the true face of humanity's military might was revealed. The species they had dismissed as primitive had orchestrated the greatest military deception in galactic history. The celebration of victory had become a lesson in humility, written in the language of quantum fire and strategic brilliance. The stars themselves seemed to bear witness as humanity's real forces demonstrated why premature celebration was a mistake no empire should ever make. The galaxy would never forget this day, when the mighty Nexarian Empire learned too late that their greatest victory had been their most devastating defeat. The Grand Council Chamber of the Eternal Glory, once the symbol of Nexarian might, now served as the site of their surrender. The celebration decorations still hung in tatters from its walls, a bitter reminder of their catastrophic overconfidence. High Commander Vexel, his ornate armor now scratched and dulled, stood before General Reed and the human delegation. The mighty Nexarian Empire, Reed spoke, his voice carrying through the silent chamber, that celebrated victory before the real battle had even begun, now stands here to surrender. The human general's words carried no mockery, only the weight of historical significance. Around Earth and throughout what had been Nexarian space, the full scope of humanity's triumph was still unfolding. Hidden bases continued to emerge from quantum shadows, revealing an infrastructure of preparation that boggled the minds of all alien observers. The species that had been dismissed as primitive had orchestrated the most elaborate military deception ever witnessed. Before we proceed with the formal surrender, Reed continued, there's something you should see. He gestured and a holographic display filled the chamber. It showed hundreds of locations throughout former Nexarian territory where human forces had been hiding in plain sight. Space stations thought abandoned were actually advanced bases. Asteroid fields considered worthless were sophisticated weapon platforms. Every retreat had been a careful positioning of forces. Kraz, standing behind his commander, watched in stunned silence. All this time, he whispered, while we celebrated our victories, they were just learning, adapting, preparing. Colonel Torres stepped forward, her quantum-enhanced battle armor humming softly. Every battle we lost was an opportunity to study your tactics, your technology, your weaknesses. Your celebration became our greatest advantage. The holographic display shifted, showing the true extent of human technological advancement. The quantum drives that had shocked the Nexarians were just the beginning. Humanity had developed technologies that the Empire's scientists had thought impossible, all while maintaining a facade of technological inferiority. Your Empire's greatest mistake, Dr. Chen explained, his voice carrying a teacher's patience, wasn't underestimating our technology. It was underestimating human nature itself. While you celebrated each victory, we were building something unprecedented, a force that could not just match your empire but transcend it. News of the Empire's fall spread across the galaxy like a quantum shockwave. Other alien civilizations, many of whom had feared or envied Nexarian power, watched in amazement as the truth emerged. The humans hadn't just defeated the Empire, they had revolutionized warfare itself. The age of the Nexarian Empire is over, General Reed declared, but this isn't just about victory or defeat. This is about the dawn of a new era. He activated another holographic display showing plans for a new galactic order. Humanity doesn't seek to replace one empire with another. We seek to build something better. The plans revealed humanity's true ambition. They had developed not just weapons, but solutions for faster-than-light travel that could benefit all species. Their quantum technology could revolutionize communication, energy production, and exploration throughout the galaxy. While your empire celebrated conquering Earth, Reed continued, we were preparing to transform the galaxy. Every hidden base, every advanced ship, every piece of technology we developed, they're all part of a larger vision. The remaining Nexarian officers watched in stunned silence as humanity's full capabilities were revealed. The species they had laughed at, had celebrated defeating, had not only outmaneuvered them militarily, but had developed solutions to problems their best scientists had struggled with for generations. Let this be a lesson, Colonel Torres addressed the gathered aliens, not just about the folly of premature celebration, but about the danger of underestimating humanity's potential. We don't just adapt, we transform. We don't just survive, we revolutionize. As the surrender ceremony proceeded, the galactic communication networks buzzed with unprecedented activity. Representatives from hundreds of worlds sought contact with Earth, eager to understand how a supposedly primitive species had orchestrated such an incredible deception and victory. The celebration decorations in the Eternal Glories halls now seemed like artifacts from a different age. The Nexarian Empire, which had never known defeat, had been brought down not just by superior technology or military might, but by their own arrogance and humanity's patience. General Reed stood at the chamber's viewport, watching as human ships continued to emerge from their hidden positions across space. Today marks not just the end of an empire, he declared, but the beginning of something greater. The galaxy celebrated our defeat too soon, and in doing so they missed the birth of a new era. The stars themselves seemed brighter as humanity's real forces took their place as the galaxy's new guardians. The species that had been dismissed as primitive now stood ready to lead the galaxy into an age of unprecedented advancement and cooperation. The premature celebration of the Nexarian Empire had become a cautionary tale, a reminder that true strength lies not in the victory you think you've won, but in the wisdom to know that every battle, every encounter, is an opportunity to learn, grow, and transform. The galaxy would never be the same, and the celebration that had come too soon had given birth to a dawn that would last for ages to come.